So we'll see if we can't do it on the weekend in April. So then just want to give kudos to the unsung first responders, even though state won't call them. 3 of our dispatchers were honored at the conference in Bend for their performance during the unfortunate incident at the St. Paul fire. We lost a firefighter. And then one of our, I'm not sure what the award was, Parks and 911, some volunteer thing she did that she won the award out of all people nominated. So we have 4 dispatchers with awards. So they kind of get unrecognized in all the good work they do for us. So on to the personnel policy manual. We'll get to the zoning, but the investigation of prosecution. This was mandated by a legislator back in 2021. We changed it. Apparently, what was changed for all the agencies wasn't good enough. So the sheriff and the chief association had each agency submit what their policy was so they could submit them all together. And I had to do that before the last council meeting, or this council meeting. So we went, it was one line, I think it's highlighted in there. It's about, you have to notify parents on a witness of a child who is a witness to a crime. So it's, we don't have very many of those, but it is now in the policy. And the other policy was the wellness program. The things that are in there are just not, it's written down, but it's very hard for a 6-man agency to have a wellness program like a coordinator. We're all kind of coordinators. So we're working through that, how we're going to establish a wellness program coordinator. Officer Bentley's kind of taken the lead where we were going to join with Woodburn and other agencies on a peer support team, which is COVID got in the way of that. So that's still in the works. So.
Makes perfect sense. I like the idea of doing an agency agreement where you can work with another department. Because even Woodburn, I don't think it's that big to have a wellness program.
Yeah, there's all kinds. It's been big in the law enforcement for 2 or 3 years now. All the leadership trainings that go have a wellness component. Now it's state law that we have to put into a policy, and that's what that's doing. Some of the things in there are just not compatible for 6-man agency, but for a 200-man agency.
And Councilor Allen, you had a question then, additional on the policies?
Just on that, the vehicle code, and I noticed that was revamped. So in revamping that, I had a couple of questions. I guess these are both on page 5 of the vehicle coding. I noticed after tow, down to that first section 502.8.2, section D is in Delta. And it says that the vehicle and its contents are subject to a lien for payment of the towing and storage charges, and that the vehicle and its contents will be sold to cover the charges if the charge is not paid by a date specified by the appropriate authority. Is it like a 60-day, 90-day time frame? I mean, that's kind of vague.
30.
30 days.
30 days. I believe it's on the code notice. Okay. Yeah, that's Oregon. Either an Oregon administrative rule or an by statute.
Because many years ago, we had problems with towing service that we would sell the vehicles after they were on the line, and they were not breaking the law at that time. But we actually had a vehicle that was sold. The new owner got pulled over because the vehicle had been stolen by the previous owner. It sat on the lot long enough, and they had sold it off the lot. Now the paperwork was filed, just hadn't gotten completely processed through the state yet. And that's probably the most egregious one. There were several, a number of complaints during that time frame. So, maybe set by law 30 days. But yeah, in the past we've had challenges with that.
Yeah, so there's supposed to be protocols in place, and that being that they have to come here and get a vehicle release. We call dispatch after we legally release, give them a vehicle release to go down to the tow lot. and they clear it out of the lead so that it's clear. Right. Now, if it's reported stolen while it's in storage, then we investigate why that is. But yeah, I know that's happened. When I was a young officer, I pulled over a lady in her car that was reported stolen. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't think it happens now.
Not very often, but, and I'm sure the computer systems are much better these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, the vehicle's been stolen, got left, abandoned, was towed in the lot. People that had the lot, filed the paperwork with the state and then sold the vehicle. And the new owner got pulled over because the vehicle was stolen.
So we have to contact the, okay, so car gets stolen, we take it and we have to contact that owner, and whoever the agency is should have contact information. But unfortunately, sometimes people that are part stolen aren't the most responsible, and maybe we think it over. That's the only incident I can think of that might cause that.
And the other thing I had noticed under the next section, 502.920 services. Members shall not show preference among towing services that have been authorized or used by the department. A rotation system established by the department for services should be followed. So do we have a rotation already set up?
No, and that should be taken out. It was established long before I got here. We have one tow company we use. And that's for police tows, like stolen cars, abandoned vehicles, DUI investigation, working legally towed, stuff like that. When there's a traffic crash investigation where it's, it's a, people get in traffic accidents, we call them crashes now. The vehicle we always call, we always ask them, do you have a tow company you want to use? And then non-preference towing, they default back to you, which is Hubbard towing, that's our tow. So that line probably needs to be taken out of there and realize it was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we pull that from the consent agenda for approval next time? Have a chance to take it out, or should we just request that section be amended out if we approve?
Well, that'd be easiest, but yeah, and it just takes me a second to take it out. So
Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay. What section was that, to make sure that I put that down?
503.9 towing services. And I believe it's the last sentence. There's two sentences there. Rotation of or other system but damaged by the department.
Well, members shall not show preference among towing services that have been authorized, or if we have one service that's been authorized.
What we call a non-preference tow, and then dispatch the default back. But we always ask to, like, some people want AAA and stuff, and we always want AAA tow or whatever.
Is it acceptable to council if I keep this back in consent agenda with the line stipulating that we have the last sentence of section 502.9, and I can refer to the sentence?
I don't think that needs to be removed. I don't think it should be removed.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It says rotation or other system, and the other system is we have a tow agreement with Hubbard towing. So yeah.
If another tow company comes forth later, so be it. But we're not showing preference. We're just asking for the next available. Happens to be the same company, but it's pretty much specified every time an officer has it for.
And there has been times where Hubbard towing was unavailable for whatever reason, that they request, I don't know, the bacon baker or something out of one.
Is that acceptable for you, council?
That's fine.
Just because it's consent agenda, I want to make sure we're, okay.
So that is the questions. Do you have another comment here? In driving through Hubbard within the town, four-way stops seem to confuse a lot of people. And who have right of way. I mean, there's times I'm pretty sure I have right of way and blast right on through. Of course, I don't want to get an accident. But I was wondering if there's, in our newsletter, can we do traffic reminders? Sure. Everything from the four-way to pedestrian right of way to, stop at all stop signs appropriately, things like that. And maybe have some sort of rotational, traffic reminders in there.
So like the letter that The same belt, is that the one you're talking about or in the?
Yeah.
There you go, okay, yeah, we can do that.
And just a reminder, I know not a lot of people read it, but hey, you know, the more information that's out there, we can put it on the page, yeah, okay.
I can tell you who gets the go first every time I forward, and that's my police.
Okay, Chief Rosh, is that your report?
That is, I forgot to send you out an email, but I am off after this meeting, and I leave for Dallas on Friday for the Chiefs Conference, and come back Tuesday. And then I'm off for the following Monday, but I'll be in town, so. Sergeant Anderson will be here the whole time, and I'm always convenient by cell phone.
Councilor Rogers, any questions for the police department?
No, thank you.
Councilor Thomas?
No question.
Councilor Krenslin?
I have none, thank you.
Any follow-up?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Brown. Let's go ahead and move on to the Hubbard Fire District.
Good evening. I know it's been a few months, busy few summer months for the district. So I wanted to get you guys caught up a little bit. Our dorm project is moving forward on the remodel with that. We selected Emmerich Construction to be our general contractor, and we're finalizing a contract with them now. That sounds like that work will get started towards the end of the first quarter next year, maybe the beginning of the second quarter. We had our rescue converted to a brush truck. The rescue body sold to Winchester, Kentucky. They drove 47 hours to pick it up. So that was helped us fund the new brush, which that happened the last week of August. And then we ended up doing 6 conflagrations in September. So that's where we went out to other parts of the state and helped with the large wildfires. Total conflagrations, we had 900 hours of manpower. So that includes the people that we sent out to the fires, and then the backfill at the station to make sure that our district was covered also. We did have 93 calls for service back in September. 43 of those were in Hubbard, and the other 50 were mutual aid to Woodburn and other surrounding fire agencies. A lot of structured fires and a lot of grass fires last month. Phil the Boot was last month. We raised $8,600. Slightly less than the year before, where we did 10,700, but really proud of the guys getting out there, spending their Saturday to help the Muscle Dystrophy Association. One last item would be our guys had a cardiac arrest save on the 7th, so 4 days ago, early in the morning. They responded to a call in Woodburn for cardiac arrest. They worked with Woodburn Fire District and Woodburn Ambulance, and were able to get pulses back on scene, and the patient was transported. So real proud of our members and their training and experience that led them to that save. You guys have any questions for me?
Any questions, Councilor?
That's great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Move right along to Administration Department, Director Noel.
Okay, I have a few items here. Update, I have the planning applications that are going to be next Tuesday. The Icon Construction, the development going, the big large development. The seller and the buyer are kind of negotiating at this time, so that may end up being held over to a future planning commission meeting. And we already have a application for November. Update on the comprehensive plan UGB expansion. If the city is interested in pursuing the grant that I mentioned in my report, I can go ahead and check back with the COG to see if they have capacity for assistance. We do have we have funds budgeted for this project, but I thought that if we are eligible to get a grant, it would be, nice to not have to spend all of that money. So
Assistance is always good.
yeah. So if the council wants me to just kind of check back with them after January and see where they're at to start maybe pursuing that grant, then I will put that on my things to do.
I don't think you'll see a counselor up here disagree.
Okay. I finished my management certification through the League of Oregon Cities. Unfortunately, the person that provides the certificate went to the League of Oregon Cities conference and was unable to provide me with the certificate. So I'm just kind of waiting on that, and I will, whenever I get it, I'll bring it to you guys so you can see that I accomplished that, and it will be on an agenda for cybersecurity. I was notified by Columbia Bank that there was some a breach in the security. They said that it was only for our name and address, and they provided complimentary credit with Experian, and that was kind of experience for me because I tried to get the free, credit monitoring, and then finally, after, I don't know, being transferred and calls and emails, several of them, they told me that they don't do that for businesses, and it has to be individuals.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
And that's the letter we have in the packet as well.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next item, is the potential holiday award banquet. I was wondering if the council wanted to do this again this year. We had COVID and it's been on hold for a few years, and I didn't know if you wanted me to pursue getting this arranged. I did contact Glenn Holm, and he said that they'd be willing to do that with, an slight increase. And it'd be the same kind of venue, at the same location. I would just need to know if you want me to move forward with that or wait.
I'm personally all for it. I think it's an opportunity for the city to get together, have a little bit of fun, and just kind of celebrate kind of a year in review. And we haven't done it for almost 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it has been about 3 years. Yeah.
Ever since kind of COVID kicked in. I think right before COVID hit was the last time we did it. So that would have been 2020. So I'm perfectly fine with it. I think it's always been great. It's great seeing the city staff let their hair down, for lack of better terms, and to have a little bit of fun, but other councilors' opinions. Councilor Prismo?
I'm all for it.
Councilor Young?
In favor, yes.
Councilor Thomas?
I'm in favor.
Councilor Andre?
Sure. I'm in favor.
Perfect.
Great, I will get in touch and get that going. I have one more item that I would like to add. I actually sent you guys out an email. I just got wind of this. I guess this was put on the back burner before COVID, this paid leave, Oregon paid leave. And it's now been enacted, and it's going to be effective January 1, 2023. But basically, I tried to explain it in my email. Every employee will need to be, the money will be taken out of their paycheck, not just the city employees, but everybody that's working. And depending on the amount, or depending on how many employees the business, government, whatever has, if it's less than 25, only the employees have to contribute. 25 or more employees, both the employer and employee contribute to this program. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. I kind of gave you an example in my email. It's 1% of the employee's gross salary, and then times that 1% by 60% for those that are under 25 employees. So I gave an example for, let's say that gross salary was $4,000 a month. That employee would pay $24 a month or $288 a year in this program that they may or may not use.
But they have to use it now, or they have to contribute.
If something happens, and then the city wouldn't be paying when they're off, They wouldn't be paying the employee would have to go to this fund and request it if they're eligible for it. And there's all kinds of stuff. I sent you the link. It's got all kinds of wonderful information there. But anyway, I went ahead and contacted our software company and they're gonna work with me to get everything set up so it's ready to go. January 1, and I'm hoping that somebody comes in and axes the program out. Just saying.
There's a chance, there's a chance. That's an interesting, I wonder how many people haven't realized the fact that if you're in a company that's under 25 people, that you're gonna have this tax. I don't know. Okay, anything else? Well,
I think it's all our employees are gonna have to pay.
oh, yes, the difference is whether or not an employer is gonna contribute to it as well.
That's right. You're still gonna have to pay for it.
States never found the taxes. Anything else for?
I don't have anything else unless you have any questions.
Any questions for administration? No. Awesome. Okay, we'll move on then to Public Works.
A couple of additions to the report. First of the month, we were issued our new permit through Oregon DEQ. We think it's a pretty good package. There are some things that we knew we were going to get hit with that are going to cost the city some expenses, and some of the things we pushed back on, we actually had a win there. Of the new things that we're going to have to look at is excess thermal load, and that basically is the temperature of the water that we discharge into the creek. And they're giving us a limit of 1.3, and bear with me with the units here, but there's no other way to explain it, is million kcal per day. And unfortunately, during the months that they want us to monitor this, we cannot make that standard. Then those months are June 1st through September 30th, summer months, when the effluent is the warmest. We usually run around 3.2. So that's one of the things that we're going to have to make some modifications over. E. coli, we test that once per week. They've done two times per week on that. They gave us a limit of total ammonia, which is new for us on this cycle, and the limit they gave us was 13 milligrams per liter. I think with running it correctly, I think we can meet that standard throughout the year. And then they're making us monitor the creek. During our discussions prior to the issuance of this permit, DEQ did admit to not having any information at all on the flow characteristics of Mill Creek. So what they did is they took some numbers that they had for Pudding River, manipulated them, and that's where we get our discharge parameters here. But
There's a difference between a creek and a river.
right. But unfortunately, because of this, they're making us now monitor the creek for several different parameters. One of them is flow, and there's temp, pH, alkalinity, and ammonia is what we're going to have to be looking at. So that means that there's going to have to be some construction happening, because we're going to have to put up some sort of a flume in there so we can gauge what the flow is. We're going to have to put up some sort of a platform to gauge height of the creek, and also some place where we can get out and actually do the testing on it. But we were able to negotiate. We don't have to meet these criteria or start the testing on it for 1 year. Gives us a chance to be able to build whatever infrastructure that we need. So we're kind of happy about that, because they could have come and said, okay, as of November 1st, you guys have to get all this information from the creek, and there's no way to get flow from it, because it's just the way it's built. We have to put some sort of a channel in there so we can measure it. Some of the things that we did get that we pushed back on, first one was they gave us a year on the creek.
They also, pulled back, they're gonna make us monitor our weekly testing, which is, strength of discharge bacteria, which is called BOD, and also suspended solid, which is, the particles that we're discharging in it. They went from twice a week back to what we're doing now, which is once a week. And we, argued that, saying that, yeah, if you make us do that, we just don't have the manpower for it, because it takes about 7 hours extra a week just to do that. So basically, one guy, 2 days to do it twice. Monitoring the mercury and the nitrogen, nitrogen ammonia, their first proposed limit was 3.4, which we couldn't make during the winter months. So we argued that with the fact that they didn't actually know what the flow was in the creek, where they admitted that they didn't. So they gave us the, they went from 3.4 to 13. So that allowed us to be able to, with the right running of the plant. I think that's a no-brainer there. So, yep, unless somebody complains, which would be, we've got 20 days to ask for a review on that. If not, it'll become our permit November the 1st. We're not going to do it. We like what's in there. I don't think that we could do any better if we were to ask for a review of it at this point. We've already gone through that. So that's the new thing at the wastewater plant right now. The last permit that they issued us was in 2005. So it's been 17 years. And because of this, we had one of the guys from the Medford office come up, walk through the plant last week, and we passed with flying colors. He said there was nothing there that gave him heartburn. A little bit of housekeeping stuff that needed to be done, but other than that, everything was fine. Other than that, the only other thing I've got to make a comment on is my training. I'm listed here as going through the first module. I'm actually just finished the 5th module. And it's, there's 15 of them, so I'm hoping to get through with that by the last part of November. That's my goal. One of the things I wanted to ask, and was brought up to me when I put in my time card, is I put 4 hours down this cycle working from home is for doing this work on my at home on the laptop. Is that acceptable by the council if I do a little bit of work from home on this?
I don't have an issue with it, but other council members, any concern?
4 hours sounds reasonable.
Council Thomas?
A week, 4 hours a week?
Yeah, well, I was just using it. I had some time I had to take off. I had to take my wife to the doctor, and I had another personal matter. I took an hour off. I just worked in the afternoon when I got back, and just filled that time in.
Council President?
I think it's understandable.
And thank you for bringing it up.
Yep, any questions for me?
I'm assuming we'll talk about it's not the consent agenda, but the discussion on the integrator of record?
Yes, you want to do that right now?
You might as well.
Okay, integrator of record is somebody that we.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I was one, because there was the telecommuting policy. So I was asking him, did you get approval from the council of the telecommuting? So I wanted to make sure that if he's gonna do that, that he has approval in the future to take those hours for telecommuting. I just wanna make sure that we're being consistent. And you guys are okay with him to telecommute. I just wanna make sure that's.
Yeah, this is doing the training at home and.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be done in the future too.
Yeah.
Okay,
About 4 hours a week, I think.
okay.
I'm able to squeeze the rest of it in during my normal work day. I'm thinking should be able to get it done, spending about 2 hours a day doing it here in the office.
I remember correctly, this was a topic during previous person's employment, working from home more than being in the office. And the Bosch, some of that for these races.
I think 4 hours a week is
Understandable.
And in this case, it's for training.
Yeah.
Which is for requesting him to do. So,
And you said completion, projected completion of your training is, you said November,
Yeah, November 30th is what I'm hoping for, so it's like,
it's a short term.
I'm still fine with it. Do you need us to vote or want to have consensus?
Yeah, it sounds like there's a consensus for approval for Mike to telecommute 4 hours a week at, telecommute 4 hours a week.
So you did 4 hours one week because you had some other issues.
yeah, as I said, I took some time off because I had to take my wife to the doctor. And then I, cut short a day by 1 hour, due to another personal matter. And I just, when I got home, I just spent that time, on the computer going through a couple of these classes. And I put it down on my time card and Vicki Bradley, said that I need to get active permission for it because there have been problems with it with other employees.
If you were gonna do it in the future and continue to do it every month, like it's, that's gonna be part of your, that's gonna be part of your hours worked, your telecommuting part of your hours. You just need to get council approval.
Yeah, we'll just, and I agree with Councilor Thomas here. We'll just say it through November 30th for termination of the class, I guess.
Okay.
Thank you.
And, no, thank you. Oh, sorry. Director Noel, thank you for actually bringing that up. I know it sounds horrible, but at the end of the day, that's why we can pass audits and everything else. Everything is very crystal clear. Thank you. Okay, back to the integrator of record.
Well, as you know, we are in the process of starting up the engineering for the water treatment facility. And it has been suggested to us that we go out and hire a company that does the work for the SCADA system, information system. This way, we get one company that deals with the design, the construction, the problems at startup, and also we can use them afterwards for problems that we have during normal operating conditions. We have found out in the past with the old one, we had a one-man company come out and put it in. He disappeared from the scene, and now we're having problems finding people that actually know how to deal with this. We've got 3 or 4 different consultants that we call as we have problems with it. Some of them are great computer people. Some people are more into components. Some are kind of both, like Portland engineering. But it solves the problem for us because we can pick up the phone, make one phone call. We're just dealing with one company. And we don't have to mess around with trying to find somebody that knows how to deal with what we've got. So that's basically what that's saying is that we're going to contract out and hire a SCADA company that can do the whole project for us.
And long-term support, right?
And there'll be long-term support there also.
What's the implication in terms of budget for us? What's it going to cost us at the end of the day to have this? And is it-
We don't know the budget line item for the project is about $130,000. So
And that's to update the current system.
that's to replace the new system because we're working on technology that was put in 2000.
Right.
And computer programs are different, components are different. We had a radio go out on us last year during one of the big storms, and it took us almost 3 months to find a replacement for it. Because they just don't make them anymore.
Yeah. So you've already got it budgeted in, but what is the long-term impact to have this service stuff?
Oh, for the after it's done, that's something we negotiate with them. I don't have that number because I haven't actually gone out to bid yet. We just asked them to do that. And at that point, we can put some sort of a limit on it. I'm assuming it'll be something like, we do with the engineers will charge us, I'm just pulling a number out of the air, $100 an hour to have somebody come out and take a look at it. But I think it'll be similar to what we charge for the contract we've got with them.
Who currently does it?
We've got, private guy out of Seattle, Tom Damon, Portland Engineering, and two other companies I'm just not, thinking of right off the top of my head.
We're not doing it in-house now.
No, we don't have the expertise or equipment to do it.
Okay, so the request you have for council at this point on this one is just to authorize you to move forward and at least see what we can, what type of contract agreement we can come up with. You're gonna bring it back in December.
Yes.
Is there any concern from council on that?
No, I think it's a necessity.
Okay, yeah, hopefully we won't have an overflowing tower eventually in the future. Do you need us to vote on that then? Okay, then I make a motion that we, approve, Superintendent Krebs to, work on, to move forward with a request for qualifications and with the end goal to bring a request to council to award their contract at the December 13th, 2022 council meeting. I don't know if that would work for you, Vicky, but I basically just read the last sentence.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay, any questions? Councilor Young? Councilor Kringle? No. Councilor Rogers? Okay, I do have one question. I get myself for last. Did we ever finish up on the sidewalk follow-up on that Third Street? For the homeowner, I think last month we met, we hadn't been able to get a contact with them. We were gonna move forward with the lien, but we said, see what we can do to reach out and get a hold of them.
Yes, we actually did,
Yes, I did get a hold of them and then working with them on them taking care of it. So it is in the works and we have several others.
Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to check on that, because I didn't see any follow-up, and I didn't know if it was, I haven't walked down that street to trip lately.
So actually that, I did want to mention, so I've been working on, as you guys have requested, the monthly dashboard and also the details. So I'm trying to, things that I'm including in these reports, I'm not putting on the
Perfect.
actual count report because it's just duplication and it takes up the time. So, but I can do that differently if you guys.
No,
want
no,
me to.
please do. Just remind me to go look at the stupid thing. No, at the end of the day, thank you. And in fact, I didn't print it up this time. I did look at it before coming up here, but I didn't print it out. Need to print it up here. There's a lot of color on there. Probably mix up the ink. Okay, any other questions before we close them?
Did you have a chance to look at the tree there on?
yes, we've got the guys slated to, clean the walkway. We have made some phone calls for tree limb services.
Was it bad?
It's something that would make me nervous if I walked under it. And it sort of was kind of lost because we had all, yeah, it was kind of off the beaten track to put it mildly, so I'm glad it was brought up.
Thank you. Thank you for following up.
And we will, at some point get a quote for some, walking lights there.
Thank you.
And just to have that too, I did get a phone call because I sent out some PR to the neighboring adjacent property owners. And I did have one call from one of the property owners who also requested that we had put in the letter some of the things Mike and I had met on site. And we kind of scoped out a potential project for that area to kind of improve it and make it look a little bit more well cared for. And one of the things that this person was hoping that we could add to that scope is potentially a center line of like Valor, something that will keep motorized. Apparently there's four-wheelers and things like that that are using the pathway to get back and forth. That was one suggestion that is a potential add-on.
That's great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to consent agenda. Go ahead and read it all out. A, approval of the city council minutes, June 27th, 2022 special meeting, July 12th, 2022 regular meeting, August 9th, 2022 regular meeting, September 19th, 2022 special meeting. B, approval of the September 2022 check register reports. And C, resolution 742-2022, a resolution amending resolution 665-2019. 682-2019, 688-2020, 702-2020, 721-2021, 731-2022. Police personnel policies and procedures for the city of Hubbard.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda as stated.
Okay, we have a motion,
I'll second that.
a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed say nay. The agenda carries. Okay, next one, this is a topic that I had pushed from last, time around to ensure that we have full council discussion. And that is the continued discussion regarding compensation for non-represented employees. In the very back of your packet, Vicky has provided, last time they came in, the request was, would city council consider, moving all of city staff up 1.37% increase to match, I believe, what the police department got total for their total. The city council requested to please come back with what was this actually going to cost them. Kind of see it in front of you, what she brought back. Also, if you look on the second page, you'll see the old and the new versus step. And with that, I'll open it up for discussion. I'll keep my mouth shut for a while. It's a shocker. But start with Councilor Young, like thoughts?
Well, now with the numbers in front of me, you can see what the dollar amounts are. In favor of, going ahead and increasing that 1.37 total for non-represented employees retro back to July 2021.
What about you, Councilor Friendly?
And I would take the opposite stand. We had an agreement, a particular COLA step, and I not think that it needs to be changed at this time.
Councilor Thomas?
It's roughly $10,000, give or take. I'm in favor of it. Just based on market conditions, I think it's well overdue, and I think we're overworked and unpaid.
Councilor Rogers?
I've been examining that and knowing that we're also offering a lot of other incentives. Basically. I'm torn because I know that, we negotiated with good faith with the union. They could only either way. But then again, our inflation has hit us pretty hard. Less than 10,000 isn't as big a hit as I thought it was going to be. So I'm neutral.
So, then my opinion on this as well is that I agree with all stances. At the end of the day, we do offer a lot of great incentives. And I agree with what Councilor Prenslow was saying. I also agree with what Councilor John was saying, but I also agree with what Councilor Thomas is saying. The inflation has been absolutely crazy. We've all seen it go into the supermarket. We've all seen it lately, just filling up with gas. I cry. That being the case, I was pleasantly happy. I thought it would actually be more than 9,000. I was afraid it could be a lot more, in fact. So with that, I guess I would go ahead and vote in favor at this point, only because inflation has been bad, and I would like to see us retain our employees at this point. Hopefully in the future that we can try to keep our COLA increases kind of in sync best we can. That would be my ask. With that though, I want to make sure that we go ahead and get it on the record then. So, Vicky, I'll probably mess this up, so just bear with me. I would like to make a motion that we make a COLA adjustment for non-represented employees retro to July 2021 of 1.37%. Would that be acceptable for a motion? Am I missing it?
So I have to prepare a resolution and the next number is 743-2022. So I was thinking if you could approve a resolution that would include these exhibits and then authorizing you to sign it.
Okay.
Then I would prepare it. These exhibits would go behind it.
Let me see if I can.
I've
Do this.
got it at the bottom down.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, then I think what's being asked is I would like to make a motion then that city council approve, Director Noble, to craft resolution number 7432022 and repeal resolution 7402022 based off of, which exhibit?
There, exhibit A.
Exhibit A, in the packet, and authorize the mayor to sign. Would that be acceptable?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay. Again, I know that sometimes our discussions are open. I appreciate diverse opinion of everyone, so thank you. With that, I guess the next topic is any other city business.
I'll try to get something to the newsletter. We're gonna be doing signups to the month of November regarding holiday assistance through Love Santa. And so I'll try to get something to you ASAP. We just had a meeting a week and a half, week ago or so. Finalize some things, so.
Thank you.
Okay, and the only other city business that I might want to throw out there too is if you get a chance, make sure you stop by Rockies Harvest Festival Saturday down at Barnsey Park, right?
Yeah, we got the guy that's in the mullet, he's gonna be in our truck during the parade, so. And, Christine Grazer might be making an appearance at the Harvest Festival, so I'm looking forward to it. We reached out to all candidates, but Hurricane Anthony came back to possibly want to come and say hi to the other team on Saturday, so. If she comes, we welcome her, if not, hey, it is what it is.
Hey, Chief Ross, you have one last thing?
Yeah, I forgot to bring a thought up on, I just want you to know that, I'm working through all the nonprofits and trying to get contacts so we can write the agreement, so we can start dispersing that money. So it's, Love Inc. is almost done. And I've got contacts out, but I'm sorry, I forgot to call it Love Santa, but that's the money. But I'd like to get Love Santa in North Clackamas, North Marion Bricks, because it's Christmas time and like to get the funds dispersed in them. So I talked to Whitney and I need to get hold of Love Santa. Yeah. So anyway, I'm working through it and I might have a bunch of agreements that you can see next month.
Any other city business stuff? Or any other questions for Chief Ross on that last comment? Okay, next motion, then adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned.
What's going on, man? How are you?